So my name is Daniel Itomi. My course is electronic or was electronic engineering with computer systems, and I started in 2014,
And when did you graduate?
2018.
Could you tell us where you're originally from, hometown?
Nigeria.
Nigeria, so that would make you an international student, or
Yes, yes. So I'm an international student.
hey, could you tell us about your podcast?
So my podcast is basically it's like a support for 20-year-olds. So if you're between the ages of 20 to 30, it's meant to support and help you throughout that entire experience.
Okay. Could you remind us of the course you currently take you took at university?
So it was electronic engineering with computer systems.
Why did you choose your course?
So originally I wanted to do computer systems and or computer studies rather. And at the last minute, I spoke with an uncle, and he said that he thinks I should do engineering. And I was kind of like, I'm really easygoing, so I was kind of like, okay, that sounds nice. I read about electronic engineering, and yeah, and eventually, actually, it wasn't my first choice or my second choice. Ironically, it was my third choice, and only because when I applied for automotive engineering, the uni was like it's full that they could only give me electronic engineering with computer systems, and that was the closest thing to the course I did for in college, and yeah, so that's how I got it.
Hey, what did you think of your course?
Um, truthfully, I had no idea what I was getting into because I was literally like, I wanted to do computer systems, and computer systems and electronic engineering are vastly different. So when I stepped into my first lecture, mind
Hmm.
you, I started uni late. So I stepped into so it wasn't an intro lecture, it was like
So
the
when you say
second
late,
topic,
what do you mean by
like
how late?
3 weeks
Okay,
late. So 2 weeks after freshers. So 2 weeks of lectures had gone.
okay.
So I hopped in, and it was literally talking about like current, voltage, and resistance. And I literally I literally like looked up, I was like, oh my god, what is this? Then I Googled like electronic engineering, and I was like, oh shit, this is the course I'm doing. And I hated it in secondary school. So I was like, oh, so I have to literally I spent the first 3 months of uni learning to love my course, quite literally learning, like actively researching about it, researching the opportunities, seeing why it's better than computer, and just almost tricking myself into falling in love with it. Yeah. So yeah,
You just felt it, you just
bless you,
had
by the
to.
way.
So you just kind of just, as you said, you just forced yourself to kind of like the course.
Effectively, because I knew that there was no way I could get past it, especially because when you start uni late, you're literally if you don't know everything you need to know about, that's in terms of where to live, where to like shop, how to get around, all these little things that make your experience better. You're literally it's like a downward spiral because now what do you do? And I'm there 3 weeks in. I'm literally like, what the hell is this course? I have like exams in like 2 months, and I'm already trying to like settle. And mind you, I didn't even live in Guildford. I had to live in London and travel
Okay.
every day. So it was so stressful that I had to find time to sit to literally be like, you know what, I have to actually like this course because this shit is tough. And eventually I did, but bro, it was a
It took some
journey.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you take a placement year while at university?
Yes, I did.
Could you tell us about this placement year?
The placement year, I say to everyone that's going to uni or is currently in uni, it's the best decision you can make for your uni self, depending on the profession you want to do. Because, sorry, my placement year was my best year at uni, mainly because I came into uni with no working experience, and I got into Sony, which was literally mind blowing because it's such a big organization, and I understood what it was like to work, and it eased my journey into working full time and placement. And not only that, I made money, it was paid, and I got to live in Guildford, so I still got to see my friends, and I just had to take the train to work. And that's when I realized that I would actually rather work than be a student, purely because you from 8 to 9 to 5 is office's time, but literally from 5 to whenever it's your time. You don't have to study for anything. You don't have to literally like do all nights at the library. Yes, you have to like do extra hours and stuff, but you almost control your own fate.
Mm.
In uni, like someone could come and be like, oh, you know what, we've moved your lectures from 12 to 9 a.m. and you can't do anything, you have to go.
So that freedom in a
So
way.
yeah, so that freedom I think is the best part about that, like my placement year, because I got to do loads. I got to travel all around. We went to Barcelona as well. I didn't pay for Jack. We stayed I think at the Hilton. I didn't pay for anything, and we got to meet I think a Hugh Jackman, yeah, because it was a cinema. It was in like a cinema that I worked, and it's like all those experiences for literally for free. All I lost was my time. So it's like
Okay.
I think placement like 10 out of 10 would always recommend people to do it.
Did you come from a college or sixth form background?
College.
So it'd be is the college in the UK similar or very different to colleges in Nigeria?
So so I went to college in Nigeria and I moved to England for university. So I can't really speak for colleges in England, but what I can say when I speak to my friends is that what you then find is that in the UK they specifically take you on the course you want to study. So if you want to study electronic engineering, you would do a subject specifically in electronics, or you'd focus on it specifically. Whereas what I did was I did physics, maths, and um, I did physics, maths. I just did a lot of general topics, subjects, physics, maths, computer, English, and he didn't specifically focus on electronics. So what happened was the other boys from sixth form or college that came in, they already knew a bunch of first year things. Whilst a lot of the things myself and my or the other international students from Nigeria, so we're like, what the hell is going on here? But for them, it's like, well, we did this in A levels, and we're like, so we had to take that extra time to adjust. And you like, so when people were a bit chill, we were doing our extra studying to understand what was really going on in the lectures.
Okay. So what you mentioned, what do you think from obviously you finished the course, the best A levels obviously for UK students slash subjects are for your course to take to prepare you for your course?
I think typically, I believe there is a subject on electronics. If there isn't, it's specifically
Mm.
physics, maths, and if there's because I don't know the subject names in England, but something related to computer or ICT. If that exists, then those are the things you should take, because a bunch of the course was 75% electronics engineering, 25% computer, so coding and the others. So if you already do something in A levels that teaches you that, you will literally find the first 2 years really easy.
Okay. Could you remind us of the university you studied at?
University of Surrey.
Could you tell us what it was like, the best and worst things about studying at the University of Surrey? Starting off with the worst.
The worst. What is the worst thing? I think the worst thing about studying in Surrey was the fact that they took on way more students than they could accommodate.
Okay.
Because I don't know whether you heard about it, but in the final year, they had so many students that some courses had to go to Odeon, this nearby cinema, for lectures. And that is ridiculous. It really is. And that is just on the studying side. So now think about the housing side of things,
Mm.
where you have so many students, and a lot of students lose benefits in terms of you go in thinking, you know what, I would have my accommodation in final year, but now you don't, because apparently for new freshers, they just expect to live off campus. But for me, it literally wasn't like that. That's why I'm genuinely surprised when people are like, oh yeah, I have to pay rent. I'm like, don't you live on campus though? And
So
so
it's
that's the
just a bit of
worst
that
part.
surprise.
Yeah, so it was a bit like you should don't just because you're gonna get more money, you have to account for the people there, because all of us like kind of suffered from it because you stopped having lectures in normal place, and you might say that that's a first world problem, but I mean if if you live somewhere and they change the lecture just destination, that means that you either have to walk longer, get there longer, or you might just not go at all, which can have a compound effect on your performance.
Okay. And is there anything bad about about studying there, or?
Studying specifically, I think because I really love my uni, I probably wouldn't say anything, but I would admit that I think I don't know how to say it, but I think The teaching is pretty good, but I think some specific teachers can be better in the
So
sense
some,
that
not all lectures were you can understand or get the teaching you
yeah,
would
yeah,
wanted out of all lectures at the
exactly,
university.
like some teachers would be good. Like we would have effectively like half modules. So half of the modules you have really good teacher. The other half you would have like a teacher that's like he doesn't even look like he wants to teach. You can tell that he was a researcher that's really good at his job, and they've
Hmm.
said, "Oh, can you teach?" And he's almost like reluctantly said, "You know what? Okay, gives me more money." Then he teaches, and it's like there's no like it's almost like we
No
had a
passion.
teacher. Exactly. We had a teacher that after he taught us and everything, he was a good guy. Like he wasn't even a bad person. He just had no I don't think he really had a lot of passion for it because when it came to things like I remember one specific exam, there was a question in a past paper that we hadn't gone through at all and no one knew the answers to. So what we did, we emailed him, we did everything. We tried to get him at his office. He had like buggered off to I don't know Croatia or something, and we ended up having that question in the exam, and a lot of us ended up failing it because we just literally didn't know. Our guesses for what the answers would be were wrong.
Mm.
And you can say, obviously, you can say we should have studied more, blah blah blah. But I think if you're going to set an exam, it's the teacher's duty to at least tell you, not tell you the answer, but at least explain it to
Hint
you
it.
so you understand
Mm.
exactly.
So is there anything else bad, or do you want to go into the good?
No, nothing really, because I didn't really have much of an issue with Surrey. My only issue was, like I said, the housing, the whole
Too
students,
many people.
and that's not really to do with the academic side.
Hey, so the best things about studying at Surrey?
The best things for me, I think one of the best things that works in Surrey's favor is a small campus. So everything is within a 30-minute walk, thankfully. That works for it. Another thing is the ranking. So the not just the teaching, the facilities provided for you to learn, the support you're given, I think it's very good. The Yeah, I think it's very good, and it also helps that it's proximity to London as well. So it helps that you can go to London and be back at the same day within the space of 2 hours, really. So yeah, I think I've said good things, right? Those are good.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
is anything else good, or is that pretty much what kind of the over experience? It's just everything
yeah,
within
yeah,
reach.
yeah. And obviously for me personally, it's a quiet town, and that's why like it's not a party town, and I prefer it that way because I don't want to be staying somewhere that's like there's a party every other day. So it's been nice and chill and close to London and being relatively small because even as I said more unis came, it was still relatively small compared to other unis. And that I really like because everything is accessible.
Hey, if we go into your accommodation over the 4 years, where did you live in your first year, and what did you think?
So in my first year, so like I said, I lived off campus in my first year because I resumed late. So I had lost the accommodation I had gotten just because of a long process that involved me initially not changing my uni. Then I had to change back. So I had to live off campus. The first in London, then in Brookfield or Brookwood, then which is like 2 stops from Guildford. Then I lived on campus for the second semester. So it was I can tell you three different experiences, but all in all, it was stressful because regardless of everything, you're having to make long journeys to go to lectures and trying to adjust as an international student. It's a whole other ball game, and it was really stressful the first year anyway.
Hey, second year, where did you
Second
live?
it was so it was much better. So I lived on campus. So I lived in
Mm.
university halls, and it was much better. I had gotten used to everything, and that's one thing. Like I would say, besides, I think once you're used to the system and how a place works, it doesn't really matter where you live because once you're comfortable and you understand things, it's much better. And in my second year, I was at a point where I understood the town. I knew how the uni works. I knew where everything was. So it was a 5 minute lecture for my 5 minute walk from my lectures, 10 minute walk from town. It was prime positioned. I had this nice little window that I could look outside and see people like just walking by. So
Mm.
I could literally see my friends and I'll shout out and we'll say like quick hello and everyone like goes up to lecture. So it was really good.
So what was it like going from living in a obviously housing in your first year to student halls in your second year? What's the transition like?
Uh, I always say, I think I always personally say that unless you have like a cleaning lady or something, living in private housing sucks because you have to clean so much. Yes, so you have to clean so much, and it's a lot of. I just found it annoying because I lived in a shared house with three other people, so you almost are cleaning someone else's mess because obviously you guys have rotas, so everyone cleans like okay, this week you're cleaning that, next week you're cleaning, and it's a bit annoying because you might not because as a uni student you might be out half the day, then you come back and it's like oh Saturday's your turn to clean and you're cleaning other people's mess and the house wasn't properly taken care of in my opinion anyway. So I much preferred living on campus because they come and like they clean your not they clean your toilet. So that's if you share a toilet. If you don't share a toilet, it's your own space. You're responsible for it, and it's absolutely fine. So that's for me. It's much better living on campus. Also, it's proximity to what they call it to the lecture theaters as well.
Hey, and your third year?
Third year, third year. I lived on campus. I lived on campus from my second to my final year, and it was much better. It was an ensuite place as well. It was in a nice location. It wasn't a difficult walk to uni. It was close to the gym, so it just. I think living in a good place would literally set you right to having a good uni year. And that's what I really believe.
Hey, last year?
So last year, so I lived on campus as well, but it was actually the worst accommodation because now it was shared bathrooms.
You tell us about your final
So I
year
lived
accommodation.
in so I lived in a shared housing and I was trying to save money because I was graduating and I thought it would make sense, which I think I flopped because it was it was pretty annoying. Yeah, so it was okay because I lived with people I knew, fortunately. So one of the flatmates was my friend's girlfriend and my friend lived the floor above me. So it was good. It was shared bathrooms and all of that, which wasn't fun sometimes. And I think we had an incident where we had a homeless guy basically live in our toilets for like a whole day, and it was really random because we come in and we hear that actually it wasn't my place, it was in the place next door. And we come in and we see that all the toilets are locked, and we're like, wait, what? And we hear like we know someone's in there, but we like count everybody in the flat and we know that it's none of them. So we then call the security and he comes out and it's really funny because he just comes in really like acting like he doesn't know what's going on, then he like just goes off. So yeah, it was I think it was fun that housing, but it was definitely I think en suites over like shared toilets any day.
What do you think the best accommodation is at Surrey?
So it's I think the studios basically where you have your kitchen and you have the kitchen and your own bathroom and everything in your room. It's the best one, but it's the most expensive. So it's ideally for me is I think it's the most convenient because you're responsible for everything, your own kitchen space, the mess you make, all of that. Then you have the ensuite rooms where you share a kitchen, but you don't share a bathroom or a toilet, which is much better, or a shower rather, and a toilet, which is much better than sharing a toilet.
Hey, so if we go into the Surrey area, could you tell us about the Surrey nightlife?
The Surrey nightlife, if I was to rate it out of 10, it was like a 6 or 7. So it was good, but you knew that it was the best it could be for the kind of town that it is, in the sense that it's not a predominantly like urban area, so where the theme isn't hip hop or rap or grime, the things that I would like more and coordinated dancing. It's more pop and a lot of house and electric music and all of that, and I'm not really with that. So a lot of the nightlife times were like it was a split between pleasing the locals and pleasing a lot of the students, and a lot of students came from London, so you had like a good majority of people that vouched for like hip hop, rap, R&B, those genres. So it was almost like if it's I think the party is like 3 hours, so you spend like an hour and a half playing the pop and electric and all of that. Then it's like from like maybe 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. You then play hip hop and rap. So a lot of the nights were like that, but it was. I think Surrey did really well for its nightlife, in my opinion, because you get the likes of J Hus, Crepton Conan, Stormzy. Yeah, you got pretty big people coming down and to the parties, and it wasn't expensive as well to see a bunch of them. So I think the nightlife was definitely like a bang on like 6 or 7 out of 10.
Compared to Nigeria, what were the shops and food places like? Did you have your popular places, or was it more local places, or a good mix?
Guildford had like the one shop that catered to like a lot of African students. And when I mean catered, it's like they just had a lot of the things that Nigerians would want. And so a lot of the food and everything was pretty like from the Tesco's, and the others were pretty trash. So you had to like, I think every Nigerian I knew had to bring like the local seasoning, because I think British food is like, they put a lot less salt and a lot less spices. So literally every single person I knew had to either go to London or go to the African shop and buy local spices. And the chicken as well was weird. Like Tesco chicken, I bought it like often, but it was just weird compared to like proper like frozen chicken. And I don't know what they put in it, but it's just weird.
Okay. So
yeah, sir.
Would you say?
Yeah, you were saying.
So would you say the shops are very, very different, or they kind of? It's just kind of just a little bit, just little things here and there that are a bit different to being in Nigeria.
No, I think it's completely different. It's completely different in the sense that it's much more organized, and it's much better, and it's safer, and the hygiene is a lot better in England. But in Nigeria, it's like the food just tastes better. That's just it. The food just tastes better, and that's enough for anyone to say. Just because they spice it right, whereas in England, it's like they're really lenient with their spicing, which is I don't get it, but yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a Nigerian student about to study university in the UK?
I would say definitely do as much as possible, like have as many experiences as possible, join as many societies as possible. If anything, maybe in your first 2 years, then you can knuckle down and really focus in your final year, only because the more people you meet, the more your network grows, and you never know literally who you could meet that could be a potential business partner or life partner, or just a very good friend. And don't stick to, oh, I only know Nigerians, so I'm just going to be friends. Don't do that. I think you should have friends. Like I have a friend, he's got friends from almost like how many countries, and it's very good because you learn a lot from different cultures that can help you literally in the workplace. Because I've seen in a workplace where you could meet someone and literally have a 5-minute conversation with them, and you can relate with their country, and you could literally change your career path, because the person could be, sometimes it could be a delegate coming into your office for a specific meeting, and you literally relate with him on something. Obviously, these things might not really happen often, but the point is that you have to know as much people. What's the point of traveling to another country to hang out with only Nigerians as well, or only Black people? It doesn't make any sense to me. Meet as many people as possible, learn as much as possible from everyone, be open to so many conversations, try out the food as well. It might not be good, but try out anyway. Join as much things as possible, because it builds up to your CV as well. It just helps your CV being in so many clubs and doing. That's one thing I always look back and I said, you know what, I wish I had probably joined a few other societies, or I had volunteered a bit more, because it would really help me as a graduate now.
Okay. What advice would you give to Nigerian students about to study at Surrey University?
I would say definitely have your accommodation sorted 100%. Don't go in there thinking, oh yeah, like I can easily find one. It doesn't play out that way. It really doesn't. And have in mind that it's not a cheap place to live. It's 30 minutes from London. It will be expensive. So use your money wisely. Go to London. It's 30 minutes from London. Like go to London I won't say as frequently as possible, but every now and then, like take a trip there, because London has so many nice things, and it's a nice break. Because Guildford is quiet and small, London is bigger and vibrant. So it's it's kind of like a nice breath of fresh air when you go there. And also, in terms of the study, I think you're in good hands generally at Surrey. So you just have to do what you need to do. I think they're really chill. Is there are times where the security were really understanding for some issues, not specifically to me. So obviously, don't get in trouble, but and maximize your experience. It's a nice small campus. Sign up to the gym. Don't be
Mm.
obese. Things like that. And yeah, so yeah, I think definitely just join as many clubs, play football, do all of that. If you can't play football, then sorry. But yeah,
What advice would you give to students, Nigerian students, about to study your course?
definitely do a lot of background research into the course because you probably would not be expecting what is going to be taught. So definitely do a lot of studying. Go on the Surrey website, and you'll be able to see what the modules are. You'll be able to see the career prospects. You'll be able to see what the placement year is like, and just do as much research on Surrey and the course because it will tell you, and it's pretty accurate, what the career prospects are, the places you can get to for your placement because you genuinely can get those places and get to know the modules. Google them, understand them because it's very important to know what you're getting into. And yeah.
Hey, so you chose going to university in the UK over going to university in Nigeria. Why did you make this
Yeah,
choice? What
I
pushed you to
think
make this choice?
better quality of education really. I think the quality of England universities is like it's recognized worldwide, and I have to position myself I have to position myself I have to position myself where I maximize my
Mm.
education and I maximize the 4 years I'm going to spend studying. And in those 4 years, I had 3 years of academic studies and 1 year of placements. Whereas here you can have, I think, 4 years straight of university, I believe. I'm not too sure. And it's just like the quality is like the stark quality is too wide. So yeah, so if you're able to study in England, do it over like
Okay.
studying in Nigeria.
Is there any other advice you think a Nigerian would need to know about studying in the UK?
Definitely, I would say be as prepared as possible. People don't like people just, oh, I just want to travel and hop on the plane. And no, you have to know where you're getting into because things work differently there. Here, you can almost get away with things like plagiarism, but there you don't. You may think you would say that, yeah, that's something you should know, but you're not really taught that a lot in school coming up. So you should definitely like know the rules of where you're going to. Don't be that guy that's like, oh, he's a Nigerian because like don't be that person that's known for something negative.
Mm.
Leave your negative hobbies at home, your negative habits at home rather.
Mhm.
And definitely like enjoy it because it's different from Nigeria. It might be different bad, different good, but enjoy it. Have as many experiences as possible, like sightsee, do everything like possible. Be a tourist, honestly, because it's a lot of fun. And if you travel back to Nigeria, you literally look back and be like, why didn't I do this or why didn't I do that?
Could you tell us more about your podcast? So, how you started, what people can expect, and where they can find you?
So basically, the podcast is it's kind of similar to this interview because what happens is that there's a lot of unknowns that life expects you to know when you're kind of going into uni and then going into being an adult and working and everything, and no one really tells you specifically. They might tell you, oh yeah, you have to do all of study and you have to work, but no one tells you the little details like if you want to make your way into working into a big company, you might have to start as a small company and you might have to work your way up to being a manager at a small company. Then you then move to a bigger company. Or no one tells you that sometimes applying for graduate roles might be tough, but if you're more likely to get an experienced role, like a junior experience role in the sense that, oh, they only require maybe 1 or 2 years experience than you would be able to get like a graduate role and just a lot of things. And it doesn't just cover university; it also goes into things like relationships. It goes into things like different programs. Like in Nigeria, you have to do a compulsory year. So you talk about all these little things that a lot of us experience. And what I found out is that no matter what country we're in, we actually all have very similar experiences in terms of looking for jobs, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like feeling a bit down after you graduated because life really is different. And I created it to be like a support system where it's a step by step. So as I am going figuring life out, you're also figuring life out. And this podcast speaks about vast experiences, and it's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's available on Anchor as well. So that's the hosting platform. It's on Instagram you can find it at the 2020 experience. Sorry, at the 20 something exp. On Instagram, and you can find it on, like I said, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We speak about what it's like to be an adult, what it's like to be a woman in society. Like you expect episodes about what it's like getting young and pregnant, being young and pregnant. Like there's a wide variety of things because the young adult life is very interesting and we get into a lot of trouble. And this is to just help other young adults get into less trouble and be more informed about different things they're going into, because you're in England, I'm in Nigeria, and we probably will have similar experiences, especially uni experiences. So yeah.
Okay. So you've now finished university about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What is life like after university?
It's interesting. I like the freedom of it. I like not having coursework. I like not having deadlines, things like that. And it's a lot of fun, but I personally miss uni a lot, mainly because the randomness of uni, you literally will not get it anywhere else. The variety of people you meet at uni, you won't find it anywhere else. And that's one thing I miss a lot. And I say that from an international student's point of view, because you're having friends from Spain, Poland, Australia, and it's a lot of fun meeting people like that, because it's like it gets boring meeting the same set of people every day. But in uni, it's like every day is a different experience. Every day is a different different sets of situations. And being graduating after 2 years, it's interesting, like the process of applying for jobs, getting a job, working, all of that. It's definitely fun because it's nice putting into action what you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, so it's been really good, but it's also been really tough as well, because a lot of jobs say, oh, we want someone with 3 years experience, but it's a junior role and you're a new graduate, and it doesn't add up, because it's like, how do you want me to get that experience if you don't want to give me that job? So it's been tough, and it's like I'm trying to get a much better job at the moment. So it's a lot of kind of like, you always have to keep your head up high, because your self-esteem can get hit, because you're clever, but why aren't you getting any good job and all those things. So it's definitely been a roller coaster, but I think it's worth it, because you get to put to action the things you've learned.
At this point, we let students have what I like to call a free-for-all. You can say what you want about what you want. You can say thank you, you can give advice, you can tell a story, you can literally say what you like. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So I think what I would definitely say is, for young adults from like 18 or 17, whenever you get into uni, I think you definitely need to pace yourself, because a lot of people, when they get into uni, especially, is they think, you know what, I want to do everything, I want to join every club, and you should, but you also have to understand your limitations as a human being, and you also have to understand yourself, because it's not every club that's for you, it's not every friend that's for you, it's not every group that's for you. And it also applies to when you're a graduate, like it's not every job that's for you. And you have to truly, truly understand yourself, because what often happens is that people go through their first 2 years, and in the third year, they finally understand who they are and understand that, okay, this situation I was in wasn't for me. And that's why you hear about tons of friendship drama. Oh, this person did this. Oh, it's like, you need to understand the groups that you're in. And you need to understand that no matter how you like it or not, whatever the people you have around you will affect you. So if you want to, because we're in the age of influential, you have to have people that are productive around you. And And I'm not saying it's not every time you have someone that studies in the library with you. No, you have people that are progressive thinkers. Don't be friends with people that are just like, oh, today I just want to chill and do nothing. And literally 3 months have gone past and they've done nothing. You need to be, depending on for what you want in your life, you have to kind of do that. And yeah, and I would say just have as much fun as possible and just live your life the way you want it to be. And don't be stupid. In other words, and yeah, so it's like don't have any regrets, honestly. So what I would say definitely is, as a uni student or as an international student or anyone, you need to experience have loads of experiences, in the sense that you need to try different things out, but also understand your limitations as a human being, and also understand that a lot of things come from the situations you're in. A lot of experiences that you have will shape you, and the people you have around you would also shape you. So if you want a productive life, you need to have productive people around you. If you want to just chill all your life, then you have chill people around you. Because you can. One thing that I think I learned pretty late is that, if I have different kinds of friends, this would really help. But if you want to genuinely, because there are a lot of friends that will push you, and you need to have people around you. You need to have people that will push you to do other things besides your normal activities, because you can't just go to uni and sit in your room and like 4 years go by and you're done. Because you need to go out and experience stuff. You need to be brave as well, and like read your books. Like, definitely, I don't know why people do last minute revision. Like, don't do it. You give yourself so much heartache and so much like headaches. Literally, just like study early, do that, and yeah, don't test the rules, because it will work against you. It definitely will. And yeah, so yeah, just have fun, just enjoy yourself and learn, always look to learn. Never be shy of learning, because the more you learn, the more employable you are, and the more you can get that job that you want. Okay, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and I am plugged in.
Amazing, thank you.